Hi, in this video, we will talk about API key authentication in REST issues. So how we can use API key authentication while sending a request and get the response. So first we'll see what is API key authentication. Then we will see one example. So API key authentication is a simple and widely used method for securing access. Okay, securing access to RESTful APIs. It's a simple and widely used method for securing access to our RESTful APIs. So an API key is a long, randomly generated. It's a string. Okay, randomly generated string or token, whatever you call, that is issued by the API provider. Who is providing that API? They'll provide this a long randomly generated string or token. Okay, so and then it involves including an API key. It involves including an API key in the HTTP request. Okay, HTTP request header. It is with HTTP request header or query parameter. Okay, query parameter when making an API request. When making an API request or requests. Okay, so then we know header. We already saw a few examples in our previous videos. Then what is query parameter? Okay, that also we will discuss before that. So the API key serves as a unique identifier. So unique identifier and a secret token that is associated with a user or an application. Okay, the API key serves as a unique identifier and secret token that is associated with a user or an application. And then when a request is made to the API server, when you send an API request to the server, it checks the API key included in the request. It will check API key included in the request against a list of valid and active API keys. There will be a chance of more than one key. So the key which you send should be one of the list. Okay, and should be active also. Okay, so if the key is valid, it will check against all the keys. If it is valid, the server processes the request. Otherwise, it returns an authentication error. Okay, it returns an authentication error. Okay, so if the key is valid, then you can get the response of whatever you're expecting. Otherwise, it will throw an error. So it is commonly used for scenarios where user authentication is not required. So where you will use commonly where your user authentication is not required, and the goal is to identify and authorize. Okay, identify and authorize access for a specific application. Access for a specific application or user account. Okay. It is commonly used for the scenarios where the user authentication is not required, but the goal is to identify and authorize access for a specific application or user account. Okay. It is often used for public APIs. It is often used for public APIs and third-party integrations and scenarios where the user does not have individual accounts. Okay, individual accounts. So it is oftenly used for the public APIs and third-party integrations and the scenarios where the user doesn't have a individual accounts. Okay, so this is all about API key authentication. And we were discussing about query parameters. Okay, so what do you mean by query parameter and why we'll use that? We will see. Okay, so query parameters. Then query parameters are additional parameters included in the URL of an HTTP request to provide extra information to the extra information about the request. So query parameters are additional parameters included in the URL of the HTTP request to provide an extra information about that particular request. Okay, so they are part of URLs query string and follow the question mark character. Yeah, that we will see. So they are part of the URL in your particular base URL, and it will follow that. What is that? Question mark character. So query parameters are typically used for filtering, okay, sorting or customizing the response from the server. Understood, right? With the help of query parameter, while you're getting the response, you can filter that. You can filter that, sort that, and if you need any customization to that response, you can do that with the help of query parameters. Okay. So by taking one example, we will see. Okay. First, what is that URL we are going to take is weather data, OpenWeatherMap.org. Okay. So go to here and create an account. Okay, you can sign up for this with your Gmail. So I signed up already. And if you go to this link, openweathermap.org/current. So when you see sample get method, get call, you see API call, https api.openweathermap.org/data/2.5/weather. And you see that there is a question mark. That is what we are discussing about the query parameters. After that, LAT, latitude is equals to some value, and longitude is equal to some value, and app ID is equals to API key. Here we need to provide the API key, and these are all after the question mark. So because of that, these are called query parameters. Okay. Here the required parameters is what? Latitude, longitude, and app ID. These three are mandatory, and mode, units, and language, these are all optional. Okay. So these three parameters you need to pass in the URL as query parameter, then you can get the information. Okay. And coming to the API key. So once you create an account, here you just click on your user and you see my API keys. When you click on this my API keys, you see that here you see key, the name something, you can change it if you want. Status is should be active. That is what we discussed, right? There should be API key and that should be active. Okay. So if you want to create another key, you can create. So testing. Okay, I'm just giving a testing generate. You see that there is another key. That is what we discussed. The key which you sent, which you'll send with the request, that should be in this list, and that should be active. Then only you will be authorized and you'll get the response. Okay. So first we'll see with the help of Postman, and then we'll go to the Eclipse and we'll see with the rest assured. Okay. So go to Postman. So let me clear this. So here you see api.openweathermap.org data 2.5 weather, and one is longitude and latitude. So okay, let me do one thing. We'll take one simple one. So go here. This is, we need longitude and latitude. Somewhere you will have a, go to the API. So you see current weather data, click on API doc. So here only the same thing, and somewhere you will have a simple one. So with the help of city, you can get that data. Okay, you can find here, but I already took this one. So you see that, and after question mark, previously we discussed about latitude and longitude. Here Q equals to, you can provide any city name. This is, I have given Hyderabad. Okay, and along with that, let me take one more instead of this. Let me copy. I'll take another get request, put here. You see the moment after question mark, you see there is no data. So when you put a question mark and Q, you see that the moment when you type question mark, you see query parameters are passing, creating here. You see key value, the key is Q is equals to Hyderabad. You see Q equal to Hyderabad, and app ID. Okay, and app ID is equals to, we need to provide the API key that we have here. So let me take this, put here. Okay, so we are sending in the form of, in the params, query parameters. So the moment when you create these key value pairs here, automatically you see this is forming. Okay, Q is equal to Hyderabad, and app ID equals to the API key. Now if you send this information, you see that you receive data. In the down, you see name equals to Hyderabad. If I provide some London, okay, London, and send, you see that if you come down, you see London. So if you try to take some other city, New York, so not found. We might be, yes, might be, we'll see. Yeah, you see New York. So whenever you change this parameter, you are getting that respective city weather. Okay, so this is how query parameters you need to pass in the Postman, and you are getting the data. Okay, so if you do not want to do this, go to authorization. You see in the authorization, previously we have seen basic authentication, bearer token, something like that, right? Now you take API key. So then the right side, it will ask key value. So the moment when you provided that information here, even then also you can see in the params, but that is deactivated. Okay, so if you hover here, this query param was automatically added. When you add here, then automatically, so what we'll do, we have seen 33B, right? So we'll take another one. This one, we created this one, right? Testing. We'll try this one also. We discussed, right? This is one of the list and should be active. We'll verify whether it will work or not. So I've created here. and the same thing will reflect here. Okay, then send. So it's not working. And what I observed is, after creating the this API key, it took some time for me to work this. So otherwise it's not working. And the previous one also, sometime it did not work. After some time it worked. I'm assuming the same thing. So, but this is working. So we'll take this and we'll verify. Okay. So now we'll go to Eclipse that we are discussing. So I created API key authentication a class and get weather information and V1 and V2. Okay. So here, rest assured dot base URI is equals to, so this is the one. Okay. And after this, okay, so till org, this is what base URI. We can change this to base path also. Dot base path is equals to remaining. Okay. And then request specification. So request spec is equals to rest assured dot given. And we just discussed it, right? We need to provide the information in the form of query parameters. Here we need to provide request spec dot, you will have a query param. Okay. What is that query param? So one is, we'll go back here. It will take, one is Q. Okay. One is Q. Sorry. We'll take Hyderabad and request spec dot, one more query parameter. What is that? App ID. Okay. What is that app ID? This is the app ID which is working, right? So we'll take the same thing. And then we need to get the response. So response is equals to request spec dot get. This is a get method, we'll use get. Okay. Then I'll take JSON path. So JSON path is equals to response dot JSON path. And then I'll try to verify the city name and response code. So assert dot assert equals response dot status code, that is get method. So I'm expecting 200, and assert dot assert equals and JSON path dot get string of, sorry, get string. Yeah. What we are expecting, what we need to get, name of the city. And what is that city name we are expecting? Hyderabad. Okay, that's all. So we have given base URI, base path, and here we are providing the API key authentication. Okay, that is, we are giving in the request in the form of query parameter. Okay, and then remaining things are as usual, that we need to get the response, and I'm asserting the information inside the response. So let me run this. You see that it is working successfully. It is getting that, with the help of this API key. Okay. So if I change this to London, okay. So this time it will fail, expecting Hyderabad, but you found London, right? So expected Hyderabad, but found London. So it is working fine. Okay. I'll change it back. Okay. This is way one. So we'll see this way to the DSL syntax. Rest assured that is given. And what we need to provide? Query parameters. Right. Same query parameter. This is the one. I'll copy paste. And then dot. Again, this query parameter we need to provide. Right. After given, these are all in the given only, right? The same way. Let it be like this. And then what is that? When, so let me move this. Dot when dot get. Okay, we can give base URI base path, otherwise we can directly get. We'll see that base URI. This is the base URI, and then you can say dot base path. Sorry, we need to provide inside this the base path. This is the base path, and then dot get. Right. Then we need to assert the status code is 200, and then inside the body the name matches dot equal to, what is that? Hyderabad. So we are done. Okay, the second way also done. So let me comment this way one. So rest assured dot given dot query parameters, we need to provide both the query parameters, and then when base URI and base path, this is a get method, and then you get the status code is 200, and inside the body name should equal to Hyderabad. Okay, so let me execute this. You see that passes perfectly working. If you change the name, this name to, we can change it to the same London again, otherwise New York. So this time it will fail. Okay. So expected Hyderabad, but you found New York. Okay. So because of that, it failed, means it is working fine. Right. So this is how you can use your API key authentication in your request, and you can get the response. Okay. So that's all in this video. Thank you for watching this video. Please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for interesting updates. Thank you.